Okay, guys, there's the Blaupunkt unit pulled. A lot less. Hey guys, Electron Man. Well, we're back on this Blaupunkt console that I got. It's been a lot later, as I kind of showed. Many hours. I'll just say that. We've done a lot. I'll tell you, we got her up and running. That's kind of the first thing I did was because I was like, I'm not gonna go any further with this until I can get her running, and got her working great. Just a few caps and a good cleaning, and it's really came right up, started working well with that, and had the pieces I had to glue on it. Then we started really troubleshooting it, and or not troubleshooting it, but trying to think about actually putting it back in the console and having a nice piece. And wow, the list, I don't know, I guess I'll just kind of go through what I've done so far. Of course, I completely disassembled it, cleaned everything, pulled all this out, cleaned all the pots, deoxed them all. I've placed three capacitors in it, and obviously I kind of showed you on the other video, I repaired and glued this up here. Since then, I have now built a knob for the tuner here. See this come off here. It's pretty. I got a pretty good fit here. But I made this knob. Now I found this knob. I don't even know what it's off of. It's probably not a perfect match, but it's kind of the same chrome, so I kind of felt like it'd go with it. But basically, this knob had a screw set in it, but the shaft on it was way too big. But it had a brass shaft in it, so I was thinking, well, if I could find some piece of metal that'll fit tied up against this, but it'll fit inside of here, I can kind of make a whole little knob out of it. Basically, I found this piece right here, which I believe is actually it's for like an alarm system. You put it in your car door so that it senses when your car door is open and shut. So it's kind of like but on the end of it, it had this spring piece of metal that was about a half-inch long. And the good thing about it was spring metal, so it was a good stiff metal. And it happened to be just about the perfect size. So then I took that spring metal, and I don't know if you can see inside there, but I flattened one edge of it, and then it was still a little bit loose in the brass fitting there. So then I found this, I don't know, it's some type of piece of rubber I found, but it made up the gap in between the two. So then I managed to, it's a really tight fit. I actually had to hammer it in, but so I put the rubber in there, and then I put my my metal in there. And hammered it in, and then I was able to set the screw on it. And anyway, needless to say, long story short, I managed to build a knob for it, because every knob I have, most knobs use either like a spline like this, or they have a half moon that is twice the size of these. I mean, I dug through every knob, but I've got a lot of knobs, so needless to say, I probably got 2 hours in building this knob alone. But hey, you got to have that. As far as getting the tuner to move, which it moves nice and smooth now. Shut it a little bit better. It's not, I mean, I like to have it to where it spins, but it would never be a spin type. It's not counterweight or anything, but it just took a lot of cleaning and a lot of oiling on the bushings on the front and back side of that tuner. I guess it just set and kind of seized up. And then obviously the more I use it, the freer it seems to get, but it tunes across real nice now, no problems there. Let's get into the other fun stuff. Okay, as far as lighting it had one light bulb that worked in it. So we had to work around that. Well, it was a really bizarre. It is a 7-volt bulb. I've never even heard of a 7-volt incandescent bulb. I didn't even go on a hunt on it because they aren't very bright anyway. And then I got to doing the math and figured out what I could do as far as do some LEDs in here. So I resisted it down to about 5 volts on the LEDs from the 7 volts, and I put LEDs in it. I actually left the one incandescent. I'll show you how it lights up here in a second. But so I put 2 LEDs in there, and then the stereo light didn't work either, and I don't know, it was some weird funky bulb as well. So I went ahead and put an LED in it, and so I got the stereo light fixed, I got the backlighting fixed, and then the meter would not work. And by the way, I don't know if this is a case of, I kind of should back up here, kind of a weird deal. When I was working on it, I couldn't get to work, and so I got to messing with the meter, and I noticed when I touched the meter that I was getting feedback in the speaker. which I thought was weird. Wasn't sure how I still don't have a schematic on it, so I'm not sure exactly how this works, and it might have just been coincidence. But anyway, so, you know, the meter was shot in the one that had it. In fact, I tried to take it apart and repair it. It was here, and I have some other pieces I seem to have lost. I was going to show you all the parts I put in it, and then I rubbed my elbow across here and pushed them all off on the floor and lost half of them. But anyway, I took that meter all apart, and there's the front glass on it, and the meter was just shot. But when I pulled the meter out and I went to hunting for a meter, I found it's a Cobra 25 meter is what I put in here. But anyway, I got to looking at how the shape of it was. I don't know, maybe you can see better. Let me swing it right there. But I don't know if you can see here, but the shape was right. It wasn't quite as long, but the shape was right. But the way it was mounted, I thought, hey, you know, I might actually be able to do something slick here and just use a Cobra. I mean, a meter's a meter, right? And I actually kind of like the green behind it. It shows signal strength under, so it worked. So anyway, and I had a couple spares of these laying around. I usually, in fact, I've got, after I got another one here. But so anyway, I got to cutting with my Dremel tool, and I cut it all out and fit this meter in here and wired it up. And when I mounted the meter back in here and rewired it back into the radio and turned it back on, all of a sudden the radio started working perfectly. So I don't know if that meter, it would be the only one I ever known that actually seems to couple in between the IF section. I mean, it kind of makes sense. That's where you could get, but you'd think it would parallel, that it wouldn't actually be a circuit that actually goes through the meter that continues. But anyway, I'd have to go back and unsolder the meter and see if, you know, if I lose receive. It might have just been a circumstance of everything else I'd done at the same time that it just happened to be when I put the meter in. That was the last, because I'd actually put another cap in before I put the meter in. Then I powered it up, and all of a sudden everything was working. So I was like, could it have actually been the meter? But anyway, I'm really rambling on here. I'm just kind of explaining what I've done on this thing. But anyway, needless to say, you can see this is all Electron Man manufacturing here. So and from what I could tell, it should slide in there and mount up perfectly. I mean, it's right where the other one was at, and thickness wise, I tried to make sure it stood out the way, and I just epoxied it in there. I mean, it's permanent. But anyway, let's see. I did the meter and I did the stereo. Oh, and of course, before the meter wasn't lit. Well, you know, on a Cobra meter, it has a place for a bulb, so I went ahead and wired a bulb in there. So now I have a lit meter that this radio did not come with factory, but now has a lit meter, as well as you can see my LED work. I put this, and they're faced like they are because I was having a lot of shadow problems, and this seemed to get me the best smooth white backlighting that I wanted. Anyway, kind of look through here, you can see how everything's all cleaned up and nice and neat now. Let's go ahead and show you this. This is the pride and joy here. This is what those many hours were for. Do you hear that? Check it out, meter works. Hopefully I've got this back far enough you're catching that. As you can see, the meter works. We're in shortwave right now, and if that tells you anything. Before the plenary of the National Assembly of People's Power.
内モンゴル自治区の観光地では10月25日から住民の外出が制限され感染
Needless to say, she's working great. I don't know how many channels I'm going to find this time of night, but they're here. And it works this way on all of them. Oh, and here's the FM. I'm going to end up getting caught in the... Anyway, needless to say, you're getting a feeling for where we're at. We're getting real close to me getting this back in the cabinet, and then I'll go through a full, you know, let you hear the thing back in there. I'm running off of one speaker that's, you know, just sitting on the table here, so you're not going to get the true sound quality here. This is obviously all for testing. I've gotten everything restored on it. I'm ready to put it back in. All but one thing is this knob that's missing here, which is driving me crazy, my OCD. I found this knob, which I modified it. It actually had a rubber deal, and I could go ahead and work this one and make it to where it would work. And it's not bad. I mean, it's obviously not a perfect match, but it's better than having a hole there, which that might be what I go with. I am going to play with the 3D printer a little tonight and see if maybe I could 3D print one and then maybe put some aluminum tape on it and do that. If not, we'll probably just run with that. That's not bad. Just kind of a knob I modified, but yeah, we'll go ahead and bring her back there. You can see all the light work I did in here. And as you can see, I've got a lit meter now. Pretty cool, huh, guys? She's come a long ways. I'm bringing this Blaupunkt stereo model number, who knows, back to life. Of course, the scale for the meter is in the radio, which is going to be kind of interesting because I kind of had to guess on tuning. I don't know how they expect you to be able to tune it to scale whenever the meter stays inside the cabinet, or the grid does, and all your tuning is done, obviously, outside the cabinet. But I just centered it and did my 455 and did like 2 megahertz, and then I just went through and just centered it that way and got strong a signal. It seemed to be pretty well aligned as it is. From what I can tell, it's pretty quality, and it hadn't really drifted a whole lot, and seems pretty rock solid. But anyway, I look forward to getting you part 3 on this. I just kind of wanted to give you an update. We're getting close. Like I said, really the last thing I got to really mess with is that one knob there. I'd like to get something a little closer than what I got, but end of the day, it's come a long ways from that poor old filthy thing it was. And then we're gonna work on the phonograph and see what we can do on it. I don't think it works currently, but it's probably just a belt. Phonographs are usually pretty easy to fix. So anyway, guys, have a great day out there. This is Electron, man. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up.